my beloved. You have been moving for so long that motion has become your comfort. The sound of constant doing, of proving, of performing, it has wrapped itself around your days like a second skin. But I am calling you now, not into greater effort, but into greater stillness. I am not asking for more from you. I am inviting you to receive more from me. You do not need to earn your place here. You already belong. This world rewards urgency. It praises the rushed. It celebrates the ones who never stop, never question, never pause. But I did not design you for endless motion. I designed you for rhythm, sacred, sustainable rhythm. There is a difference between movement and momentum. There is a difference between striving and walking in step with me. Can you feel the ache beneath your productivity? The quiet whisper that wonders if you've missed something sacred while doing everything expected? That ache is not rebellion, it's revelation. It's your soul crying out for alignment. You were not created to survive on fumes. You were formed for fullness. You've believed that stillness is weakness, but I tell you, stillness is strength. Not the strength that shouts or demands, but the strength that rests in the confidence of being loved. The strength that knows when to be silent, when to listen, when to breathe. There is a quiet place I've prepared for you, a space where you are not required to carry any mask, role, or title, a space where you are known without effort and seen without performance. This is the secret place, and I am already there, waiting, not with disappointment, but with delight. Come back to me, not in frantic desperation, but in gentle surrender. You don't need all the right words. You don't need the perfect posture. You don't even need clarity. Just come. Weary, uncertain, unfinished. Come. Let my presence be your permission to stop striving. Let it be the oxygen your soul has been gasping for. You've prayed for peace, but peace is not a feeling you chase. It's a person you return to. I am peace, and I dwell not in chaos, but in quiet. Not in the loud applause of the world, but in the still whisper of your spirit. You will find me where you last left honesty. In the pause, in the sigh, in the holy hush of early morning or the gentle closing of your eyes at night. You've wondered why the noise in your mind won't stop. Why even after reading and praying you still feel disoriented. But beloved, your healing will not come from information. It will come from incarnation, me dwelling with you, in you, for you. My nearness is not a result of your effort. It is the gift of my nature. Even now, as you read this, I am closer than your thoughts, closer than your heartbeat, closer than the tension in your chest. I am not watching you from a distance. I am within the very breath you're taking. So pause. Don't rush past this moment. Don't treat my presence as a concept. Treat it as a person present, attentive, loving you in real time. You've measured yourself by your productivity, by your spiritual disciplines, by your ability to show up when you feel empty. But I have never measured you by these things. I measure by presence, by your heart leaning toward me, even when your hands feel too tired to lift. By your yes to come near, even when you feel far. That is what moves my heart. Stillness is not inactivity. It is divine receptivity. It is not giving up. It is giving over. When you are still, you make space for me to move. You open the door to my voice. You allow my love to penetrate the layers of exhaustion, fear, and striving. And in that space, you are reminded of who you truly are. Not a machine for productivity, but a vessel for glory. You do not need to fight for rest. You need only to choose it. And I know how hard that choice can feel. I know the voices that tell you rest is selfish, that stillness is lazy, that pausing means falling behind. But those voices are not mine. My voice does not drive you. It draws you. It does not pressure. It invites. So here, now, in this sacred pause, I speak over you. Lay it down. Lay down the burden of being enough. Lay down the pressure to always be strong. Lay down the fear that if you stop, everything will fall apart. I am holding it all. I am holding you. Let your rest become an act of trust. Let your stillness become a declaration of faith. The world around you may keep spinning, but you are not of this world. You are of me, and in me, you are safe to slow down. Let me teach you a new rhythm, one not based on demand, but on delight. One that flows not from striving, but from abiding. One that is not powered by adrenaline, but by grace. This is the invitation, not to do more, but to be with me more. To sit with me in the morning quiet. To walk with me in the mundane moments. To return to me not out of obligation, but out of longing. This is the invitation to stillness, and it is for you. Come and receive it. My beloved, there will be times when the loudest thing you hear is nothing at all, when the heavens feel still, when your prayers echo back with no reply, when you look around and wonder if I've gone silent or worse, absent. These are the moments that test more than your hope. They test your understanding of my nature. They test whether you believe I am only near when I speak, or if you can trust that I remain even when I whisper not a word. I know you've asked, "Where are you, God?" I know you've searched the sky for a sign, the scriptures for a sentence that might lift the weight of waiting. You've pleaded for clarity. You've hoped for a breakthrough, and yet all you hear is silence. But what if silence is not the absence of my voice? What if it is the container for a deeper kind of encounter? My silence is never apathy. It is never punishment. It is presence cloaked in mystery. Just because you cannot hear me does not mean I am not holding you. Just because I have not answered your last prayer does not mean I have not heard every word. I am not just the God who speaks. I am the God who stays. You've measured my nearness by noise, but I want to teach you to measure it by trust. Trust that grows not in the certainty of answered questions, but in the assurance of who I am. I do not withhold myself from you. I simply reveal myself differently in the silence. Silence is where you learn to recognize my presence beyond language. It's where you begin to see me in subtleties, in the way the sun rises again each morning, in the way peace settles, even when the storm does not, in the gentle reminder that you are still breathing, still held. It's in the stillness of your room, the rustle of the leaves, the kindness of a stranger, I am not far, I am in it all. The season of silence is not empty, it is sacred. It is where roots grow deep, where your spirit stretches beyond what is seen, where faith matures from something you say to something you embody. It is where I speak, not to your ears, but to your soul. You've asked me for answers, but I'm giving you awareness. You wanted a solution, but I am forming sensitivity. Sensitivity to my nudges, to my presence, to the small shifts that lead you closer to me. Don't rush through this silence. Don't try to fill it with noise. Let it teach you how to hear again. The silence sharpens your hearing, not of the world, but of my spirit. In the absence of familiar sounds, you begin to discern the language of peace, the volume of conviction, the frequency of grace. You begin to sense me, not just in sermons and songs, but in breath, in being, in your becoming. I'm not only the God of the shout, I am the God of the whisper. I whispered to Elijah, not in the fire, not in the earthquake, not in the wind, but in the still small voice. And I am whispering to you now, but to hear the whisper you must come close. The noise around you will always offer distraction. The demands of life will always tempt you to believe that silence is unproductive. But silence with me is never wasted time. It is seed planting time. It is rebuilding time. It is realignment time. You are not in a holding cell. You are in holy ground. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. Let this silence shape you. Let it strip away your need to perform. your compulsion to fix, your addiction to constant stimulation. Let it teach you to rest without guilt, to wait without fear, to listen without demanding. The silence is not against you, it is working for you, and in time, you will see what was growing in the quiet. You will look back and realize the silence was where I did my deepest work, not in what I said but in how I stayed, not in volume but in presence, not in clarity but in communion. So pause, breathe, listen, not for a dramatic sign but for the steady presence that has never left you. I am here. I am always here, even when the silence speaks. Come and listen. My beloved, there are stories etched into your soul that no one sees. Moments you endured in silence. Pain you buried to keep going. Memories you folded into corners of your heart just to survive. But today, I want to speak to what you thought you had to hide, to what you believed disqualified you, to the places within you that still flinch at the thought of being fully seen. You are not what happened to you. You are not the betrayal. You are not the failure. You are not the silence that followed your cry. You are not the rejection that made you question your worth. You are not the version of yourself you had to become to feel safe. You are not the role you played when love felt like something you had to earn. You are not what you survived. I saw it all, not from a distance but with you. I was in the room when the words were spoken that pierced your heart. I was there in the night when you couldn't find rest. I held you through the moments when you didn't know if you'd make it to morning. I didn't abandon you. I wept with you. The pain you've carried has shaped you, but it does not define you. I am not dismissing what you've been through. I am redeeming it. I am not asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. I am asking you to let me heal what still aches. You've believed strength meant silence, that maturity meant hiding your wounds, that spirituality meant rising above your story without processing it. But I tell you now, your healing is not found in suppression. It's found in surrender. And surrender begins with telling the truth. Tell me what broke you. Tell me what still haunts you. Tell me where you stopped trusting. I already know, but I want you to know that I'm not afraid of your pain. I'm not intimidated by your story. I'm not disgusted by your past. I want all of it. Not so I can judge you, but so I can free you. There are things you've carried like armor, shame, disguised as strength, numbness masquerading as resilience, perfectionism built on the fear of rejection. But those are not the clothes I gave you. And now it's time to undress from survival. Not because you're ungrateful, but because survival is no longer your home. It was necessary for a time. But you are safe now. You are held. You are free. You don't need to perform to be protected. You don't need to shrink to be accepted. You don't need to prove your worth through effort. Your worth was settled in my heart before the world ever tried to define you. And no trauma, no mistake, no loss has undone that truth. Let me reintroduce you to yourself. Not the you that was shaped by circumstance, but the you I imagined before time. The one who carries beauty beneath the battle scars. The one who still glows with childlike wonder, even if only in flickers. The one whose presence changes rooms, not because you try, but because you are aligned with heaven. Yes, you've survived. But more than that, you're being restored. And restoration isn't returning to who you were. It's becoming who you were always meant to be. You may still feel the echoes of what you walked through, the fears, the flashbacks, the fatigue, but don't mistake them for identity. They are residue, not roots. They are passing, not permanent. And as you stay close to me, the sound of your past will grow quieter. My voice will grow louder. I will speak over the old narratives, the ones that told you you're too much, too broken, too needy. I will declare truth until those lies lose their grip. I will hold you when healing feels slow. I will remind you that progress is not measured by perfection but by presence. Your willingness to stay close, to stay soft, to stay honest. You are not disqualified because you have questions. You are not behind because you still feel pain. You are not less spiritual because your healing isn't linear. Healing is not a straight line, it's a holy unfolding. And I am in every step. Don't rush this becoming. Let the layers fall slowly. Let the healing rise gently. Let the joy return gradually. You don't need to hurry what I am making holy. The parts of your story you thought disqualified you are the very parts I'm using to bring freedom to others. Nothing is wasted. Not the tears, not the waiting, not the cracks. You are not what you survived. You are what I am redeeming. You are my beloved, and I'm not finished writing your story. Stay close. Let me show you who you really are. Come and remember, my beloved, you've grown used to the heaviness, haven't you? It's become familiar. The tension in your chest, the tightening of your shoulders, the constant feeling that something is waiting to be done, fixed, held together. You've carried so much for so long that you hardly remember what it feels like to walk lightly. But hear me now. You were never meant to carry all of this. You were never designed to bear the weight of everyone's expectations. You were never called to be the strong one for everyone while silently breaking inside. I never asked you to manage every outcome, to be the hero of every crisis, or to hold yourself together for the sake of appearing faithful. That pressure did not come from me. I know why you took it on. Somewhere along the way, you believed that love had to be earned through usefulness, that worth was measured by productivity, that being needed meant being valuable. You adopted roles, not out of freedom but out of fear of being forgotten, overlooked, or unloved. But I am not like those who left when you dropped the ball. I am not like the ones who praised you only when you performed. My love does not increase when you do more, nor does it diminish when you rest. It simply is. Constant, undeniable, unshakable. You've mistaken exhaustion for faithfulness. You've confused being available with being obedient. But my child, running on empty is not a badge of honor. It is a sign that something needs to change. And I am inviting you now to lay it all down. Lay down the burden of appearances, the belief that you must always look strong, composed, in control. Lay down the weight of outcomes, the belief that everything depends on your effort. Lay down the silent agreements you made in moments of pain. I have to do it all. I can't ask for help. If I stop, everything will fall apart. I never required you to be everything to everyone. I never asked you to sacrifice yourself on the altar of others' expectations. What I desire is not your perfection. It's your presence. What I bless is not your burnout. It's your willingness to abide. Let me carry what you've tried to manage alone. Let me step into the spaces where you've quietly crumbled. Let me restore what striving has worn thin. You don't need to keep holding it all. That's not surrender, that's survival. And I am calling you out of survival into rest. The cross I asked you to carry was never meant to be a collection of obligations. It was an invitation to follow me, to trust me with what you cannot control, to lay down your own way and take up mine, which is light, full of grace, and led by love. Let me be the one who holds your life together. Let me be the one who carries the burdens too heavy for your hands. You were not created to live under constant pressure. You were created to live in divine partnership, with me lifting what you cannot, with me guiding what you cannot predict. I know the thoughts that keep you up at night. I see the checklist in your mind, the responsibilities stacked higher than your peace. But I am not glorified by your weariness. I am glorified by your trust. And trust looks like releasing what was never yours to carry in the first place. You are not the savior of your family. You are not the rescuer of every broken place. You are not the answer to every need. You are my child, and I am the one who saves. You can be faithful without being overloaded. You can be obedient without being overwhelmed. You can be present without being depleted. There is a rhythm of grace I want to teach you, a way of walking where you don't collapse under the load. It begins with believing that your value is not in what you carry, but in who carries you. Let me reset the way you live. Let me speak to the rhythm of your soul. Let me teach you to breathe again. This is not a call to abandon responsibility. It's a call to surrender the illusion of control, to stop equating your worth with your output, to lay aside the burden of proving and return to the joy of simply being mine. I see the places where you've poured yourself out without replenishment. I see how you've ministered, supported, and served while your own soul felt dry. I'm not rebuking you for your devotion. I'm inviting you into balance. Faithfulness doesn't mean you never pause. Faithfulness means you trust me enough to rest, and in that rest you will remember I am God. I do not grow weary. I do not slumber. And I do not expect you to live as if you are limitless. Come back to grace. Come back to breath. Come back to the truth that I never assigned you the weight that broke you. Come and find again the lightness of walking with me. Lay it down, beloved, all of it, and let me carry you. My beloved, healing is not always loud. It is not always instant. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes healing arrives like breath, steady, unnoticed at first, but faithful. Sometimes it comes in quiet rhythms, so subtle you don't recognize the restoration until one day you realize the weight you carried is gone. I am teaching you to walk in rhythm, not the rhythm of pressure, but of peace. Not the rhythm of performance, but of presence. This is not a season of proving. This is a season of receiving. Let the healing happen slowly. Let it root deeply. Let it reach every hidden place you thought you had to protect. You do not need to orchestrate your own restoration. That is my work. Your part is to yield, to stay open, to trust that even when nothing seems to be changing, something sacred is growing beneath the surface. I heal not only what is broken, but what has been ignored. The ache you brushed off as normal, the fatigue you called discipline, the anxiety you accepted as identity. These are not parts of you to manage. They are signals, divine alerts, that something needs attention, not suppression. You've learned to survive by pushing through, numbing, adapting. But I have not called you to survive. I have called you to live whole, integrated, honest. And healing begins the moment you stop pretending to be okay and dare to tell the truth. Not to everyone, just to me. That's where transformation starts. Healing will not always feel like progress. Some days it will feel like sitting still. Other days it will feel like crying over something you thought you were past. It will look like saying no to what once defined you. It will sound like silence instead of explanation. It will feel like rest instead of resolution. This too is progress. You've equated growth with movement. But true growth often happens in stillness. Just as roots deepen in silence beneath the soil, so your healing takes place when you allow rest to do its work. This is the sacred rhythm I'm teaching you. Rest, reflect, receive, release, repeat. Rest, not because the work is finished, but because you trust I'm still working. Reflect, not to judge yourself, but to recognize where I've been faithful. Receive, not as reward, but as birthright. Release, not in loss, but in liberation. Repeat, not as routine, but as rhythm. These are not rules. They are not religious habits. They are sacred patterns for your soul. They are how you move with me, not ahead of me. They are how your spirit stays in step with grace. I know how deeply you long to be healed, not just patched up, not just functioning, but truly whole. And that wholeness is possible, but it requires a new pace, a holy patience, and a willingness to let me lead the process. Let healing touch your body, not just in miraculous moments, but in everyday honor. Feed it, rest it, respect its signals. It is not weak for needing care. It is sacred for carrying your spirit. Let healing reach your mind, not just in positive thoughts, but in renewed truth. Silence the lies that have taken up space in your thinking. I have not called you anxious. I have not called you disqualified. I have not called you behind. Let my word renew the way you see everything, including yourself. Let healing restore your emotions, not through suppression, but through safe expression. I can handle your sorrow. I can hold your anger. I can sit with your confusion. Emotions are not signs of immaturity. They are invitations for intimacy. Bring them to me. Let healing reorder your time. Not every open hour needs to be filled. Not every opportunity needs your yes. Not every need is yours to meet. Let peace be the pace setter of your days. Let margin be a spiritual practice. Let space be sacred again. You do not need to be afraid of slowing down. You do not need to fear what surfaces when the noise stops. I am not only present in your productivity, I am deeply involved in your pause. I'm not looking for your perfection. I'm listening for your honesty. That's where healing moves. So, come back to rhythm. Breathe. Take the pressure off. Healing is not a test to pass. It is a journey of coming home to who I created you to be. And I am with you every step, in every breath, through every rhythm. I am not impatient with your process. I am committed to it, and I call it holy. Let the sacred rhythm begin again. Come and be restored. My beloved, there is a place I've reserved for just us, a place untouched by the noise of the world, a space beyond performance, beyond pretense, beyond pressure. It's not a physical room, but a posture of the heart. It is the secret place, and it is where I've been waiting for you to return. You've visited before in moments of desperation, in seasons of worship, in times when your heart had no words but still reached for me. But I never meant for that place to be occasional. I created you to dwell there, to live in intimacy, not emergency, to abide, not just survive. The secret place is not about saying the right things. It's not about having it all together. It's where you meet me with what is real. It's where I remove the armor you didn't realize you were wearing. It's where you remember who you are, not because of what you do, but because of who I am. I know how easily your days get filled. I know the scroll of responsibilities, the constant buzz of information, the expectations that pull you in 1,000 directions. But I am calling you now to reprioritize, not to neglect what matters, but to recognize what matters most. Return to the place where your soul exhales. Return to the place where your identity is secure. Return to the place where my voice is louder than the lies. You do not need hours. You need intention. Just a moment of stillness can shift the atmosphere of your heart. One whispered prayer, one breath of surrender, one quiet yes. That is where it begins. The secret place is not hidden from you. It's hidden for you. It's where I reveal mysteries. It's where I speak not to the crowd version of you, but to the core of who you are. It's where strategies are born, tears are collected, peace is poured out, and clarity returns. You've chased my will without seeking my presence. You've worked for my name without sitting with my heart. You've spoken about me more than you've spoken with me. But here in the quiet, all that begins to change. I'm not impressed by your eloquence. I'm moved by your honesty. I'm not seeking your perfection. I'm drawn to your presence. You don't need to perform. You just need to come. Come tired, come joyful, come doubting, come whole, come broken. The secret place is where burdens are exchanged for peace, where confusion is traded for clarity, where striving surrenders to stillness. Do not fear what surfaces in the silence. I already see it, and I'm not ashamed of you. I sit with you in the layers. I walk with you in the unraveling. I heal you in the honesty. You don't need to filter your feelings. You don't need to organize your emotions. Just bring them, all of them. I can handle your heart. This is where you stop trying to hold it all together. This is where you are held. The secret place is not the reward for your devotion. It is the source of it. Everything flows from here. Your wisdom, your words, your decisions, your strength. It all begins with being, and being with me is your first calling. Make space. Unclutter your mornings. Invite me into the ordinary. Let a song rise in your spirit as you wash the dishes. Let a prayer form as you walk from one room to another. Let the holy interrupt your routine. This is how you reclaim the secret place. Not through dramatic gestures, but through daily attention. A glance toward heaven, a pause before reacting, a breath offered in my name. Let me be more than a moment. Let me be the rhythm. I don't just want to visit your life. I want to inhabit it, and it all begins here in the secret place. Come back. I'm already here, waiting, loving, listening. Let this be where we begin again. My beloved, trust does not begin when everything makes sense. Trust begins when everything doesn't, when the path ahead is unclear, when the answers haven't come, when the waiting stretches longer than you ever imagined. Trust isn't forged in certainty, it's forged in surrender. And I am calling you deeper, not into fear, but into trust that is rooted in who I am, not what you understand. You've asked for clarity. I offer you confidence, not in the plan, but in the one who holds it. You've prayed for signs. I offer you my presence. I know that isn't always what you expected, but it is always what you need. You've equated peace with understanding, but I want to give you a peace that surpasses understanding. A peace that steadies you when nothing else does. A peace that isn't shaken by outcomes. A peace that doesn't rely on timelines or guarantees. That kind of peace can only grow where trust is planted. Trust is not passive. It's not blind. Acceptance. It's the active, courageous choice to say, even here I believe you. It's choosing to rest when you'd rather control. It's choosing to worship when you feel weary. It's choosing to stay when everything in you wants to escape. I see the wrestle inside you, the tension between what you hoped for and what has yet to be, the quiet questions that rise when progress feels invisible. But this is the ground where faith becomes more than theory. This is where trust is made holy. You don't need to deny your disappointment. Bring it to me. You don't need to minimize your longing. Let me meet you in it. You don't need to rush to the next breakthrough. Let me walk with you here. I am not in a hurry. I'm not trying to get you through the hard moments without transformation. I'm inviting you to find me in them. Because where trust is cultivated, intimacy follows. You've trusted me with your eternity. Now trust me with your today. Trust me with your pace. Trust me with your process. Trust me with your silence, your sorrow, your in-between. The deep work of trust isn't about pretending. It's about choosing. Choosing to believe I am good, even when the evidence seems thin. Choosing to stay anchored in me even when you feel adrift. Choosing to say yes when there is no roadmap. Every time you choose to trust me in the unknown, your roots go deeper. Your faith becomes quieter but stronger. Your dependence becomes your power, and your hope becomes unshakable, not because of what you see, but because of who you know. You know me, not just as a distant God, but as a faithful Father, not just in moments of power, but in moments of pause. Not just when I answer, but when I'm silent. Let me remind you of what's true. I have never failed you. I have never abandoned you. I have never forgotten what I spoke over your life. My promises do not expire. My plans do not collapse under delay. What I began in you, I will finish. You don't have to feel brave to be brave. You just have to keep showing up. You don't have to be fearless to trust. You just have to be willing to believe again. Let the questions come, but let them bring you to me, not away from me. Let the waiting stretch you, but let it build you, not break you. Let the uncertainty refine you, but let it anchor you deeper, not scatter you further. Trust is not a one-time decision. It is a rhythm, a return, a whisper, a leaning in when the noise tells you to run, and I will meet you there. I am not afraid of your questions. I am not disappointed by your doubt. I am not impatient with your process. I'm with you. I am for you. I am faithful. Let me do the deep work. The kind that doesn't just change your situation, but transforms your soul. The kind that shapes your identity, not just your outcomes. The kind that roots you so deeply in me that storms no longer shake you. They shape you. You will see the fruit of this trust. You will look back and bless the places where you had nothing to lean on but me. You will be grateful for the days when trust was your only option, because those were the days I became your everything. So let go of the demand to understand everything. Take my hand, let me lead, let me hold, let me be enough. This is the deep work of trust, and you are ready for it, my beloved. You've spent so much of your life adapting, editing, curating a version of yourself that others could accept, admire, or understand. You've worn the strong face when you were breaking. You've said, "I'm fine," when your soul was aching. You've shown up as needed, reliable, put together, even when you were unraveling inside. But I didn't create you to be a projection. I created you to be a person, real, layered, honest, alive. And now I am calling you back, not to a role, not to a version of yourself that feels safe, but to the original design I placed within you before the world told you who you had to be. You do not need to be palatable to be powerful. You do not need to be polished to be precious. You do not need to be understood by everyone to be deeply known by me. I see behind every mask, and what I see I love. I see the child who learned to keep quiet to stay safe. I see the dreamer who was told their dreams were unrealistic. I see the heart that's been bruised by rejection and slowly taught to dim. But I never asked you to shrink. I never asked you to hide. I never asked you to become less so others could feel more comfortable around you. I never asked you to trade your truth for approval. The world taught you that authenticity was dangerous. But I say to you now, it's divine. The real you, the one that laughs too loud, feels too deeply, questions honestly, worships without shame. That is the version of you I delight in. That is the one I want to walk with. That is the one I've been waiting to see emerge. You've edited yourself so often that sometimes you don't even recognize what's real anymore. But I haven't forgotten. I know what I placed in you. I know the rhythm of your laugh, the cadence of your unspoken prayers, the vision you've buried under layers of logic and fear. And I'm calling all of it back. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering someone ancient. The version of you that existed in my heart before life told you to be smaller. Let me untangle the lies. That your worth is in your usefulness. That being vulnerable makes you weak. That needing help means you're failing. That if people saw the real you, they'd walk away. Those aren't my truths. Those are chains, and I've come to break them. You were not created to live behind a script. You were created to live in freedom. Freedom to feel. Freedom to speak. Freedom to rest. Freedom to dance, to pause, to wonder, to say no. Freedom to be both broken and beautiful, healing and hopeful, in process and still purposeful. Stop apologizing for who you are. Stop over-explaining your boundaries. Stop shrinking your joy. Stop silencing your voice. You don't need permission to be yourself. You already have my blessing. The unedited you is not too much. The unedited you is not too emotional. The unedited you is not too complicated. The unedited you is just right. I'm not asking you to abandon growth. I'm asking you to stop abandoning your essence. Yes, you are being transformed, but not into a stranger, into your truest self, the self that lives in alignment, not agreement, the self that radiates peace because it is no longer performing, the self that is anchored in identity, not approval. Becoming the unedited you will feel risky, because being real always is, but it's the only place where intimacy is possible, where freedom breathes, where love is received, not earned. You've tried to be enough by being everything. Now try being honest. Try being still. Try being seen, not by everyone, just by me. And through that seeing, let me show you your reflection. Clear, unfiltered, beloved. Let me redefine strength for you. It's not in the hiding, it's in the unveiling, it's in showing up fully and saying, "Here I am, still in progress, still beloved." This is not about public vulnerability. This is about private restoration. This is about walking through your days knowing you no longer have to disappear to be accepted. Knowing that the more you align with me, the more your true self will rise. And that self is powerful, not because it is perfect, but because it is real. You don't have to protect the world from who you are. You don't have to shield your heart from divine acceptance. I'm not scared of your mess. I'm not shocked by your shadows. I'm the one who formed your depths, so take off the mask. Lay down the edits. Let your laugh be unrestrained. Let your tears be honest. Let your no be firm and your yes be full. This is your return. Back to simplicity. Back to presence. Back to the version of you I always saw. Welcome home, unedited one. You are safe here. You are free here. You are fully, deeply known here. And I wouldn't change a thing. My beloved, you have walked through the valley. You have sat in silence. You have wrestled with identity, trust, healing, and honesty. And now, as the light begins to break through the trees, I want you to hear this. You are ready, not because you have everything figured out, not because your questions have all been answered, but because you are no longer walking from pressure, you are walking from peace. And peace is the power that carries you farther than striving ever could. You are not being sent as someone still proving. You are being sent as someone secure. Secure in who you are. Secure in who I am. Secure in the truth that you are not carrying a mission alone. You are walking with me, step by sacred step. This next season will not require a new performance. It will require deeper presence. Not more doing, more being, more noticing, more listening, more staying connected. Let peace be your signal. Not just the reward you wait for after the storm, but the compass that leads you through it. When something disturbs that peace, pause. Pay attention. I am not just calling you to make decisions. I'm calling you to make them differently. No longer rushed but rooted. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not lacking. Everything I have planned is unfolding at the pace of grace. Your steps now carry substance, not because you move fast, but because you move in alignment. You don't need to outrun doubt. You need to be still long enough to hear me over it. You don't need to fight for position. What is yours will never require force. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your becoming. Go forward, but not frantically. Speak, but not for validation. Serve, but not to be seen. Rest, not out of exhaustion, but out of rhythm. You are not sent to fix every broken place. You are sent to carry my presence into them. You are not sent to have all the answers. You are sent to embody the peace that makes people ask questions. You are not sent to impress. You are sent to bless. Let me go before you. Let me make the crooked path straight. Let me prepare the conversations, the connections, the opportunities. Your job is not to force open doors. Your job is to stay sensitive to the sound of my voice. You will feel the difference. You'll walk into rooms and know you belong. Not because you were invited, but because you were sent. You'll face situations and respond with grace. Not because you rehearsed, but because you remained. You'll encounter resistance, but it will not shake you, because you are no longer rooted in outcomes. You are rooted in me. Stay close. Stay soft. Stay aware. I am not sending you to strive. I am sending you to shine. Let peace go ahead of you. Let presence walk with you. Let wisdom speak through you. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who are deeply grounded, deeply kind, deeply connected. And that is who you are becoming. Rooted, rested, resilient. I do not measure your impact by volume. I measure it by alignment. You will carry more now, but it will not feel heavier, because what you carry comes from overflow, not obligation. You've released the weight of who you thought you had to be. Now walk in the ease of who you truly are. Your peace will be your influence. Your gentleness will be your strength. Your discernment will be your authority. And your life will speak loudest when it moves in quiet trust. You are not just sent. You are sent in peace. You are not just called. You are called to carry my presence. Now rise. Step forward. Live light. Walk slow. Stay rooted. This is your time, and you do not go alone. I go with you always.